So hello and welcome back to the CEO of Fucking Everything. It's a podcast where me and Simon speak with people who've worked through SIP Media Solutions, who've worked through the Sports News Blitz, who've worked through music, film, transfer, anything you can think of, and have worked their way, I suppose, from a freelancer and what they're doing now. And today we've got the brilliant Aidan Leo with us, who is a video editor extraordinaire, a content editor across the board. Aidan, thank you very much for joining us today. We want to talk to you from the very start. Obviously, similar to Anna Faraz, we did a couple of weeks back, you are not from the UK. So I find it really interesting to know how you got into your first internship with us at SIP Media, at Sports News Blitz, and with Simon, really.
Cool. Well, firstly, hi, Matt. Hi, Simon. Hi, everyone else. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to jump straight into it, or Simon, do you want to?
Yeah, I can take this up. So Aidan's on here because he's a real all-rounder, and that's what I'm looking for. So just to give a bit of a summary of what Aidan now does for SIP Media, he's the deputy content editor for Film News Blitz. Hence, I've got my my FNB hoodie on, and then he's also a senior sub-editor on the Sports News Blitz team. So he handles content that's sent in by students and freelancers, sub-edits it, publishes it for the site. Now that's a real sort of like leap, because that's not what Aidan came in asking to do. Aidan came in with a video editor hat on, and I was kind of like, that's really useful skills, but I want you on my website team as well. So then, yeah, now he also works for another partner of ours of SIP Media called JDG Media, where he does video editing for them for non-league football sites and clubs. And then another string to his bow is that he sort of handles and manages our biggest client, which is News Just News, which is a site that we've built from scratch. So I'm really interested for Aidan to tell his story, because he basically reached out as a video editor and just kind of really bought into our ethos and culture, I think, didn't you, Aidan? That was what first attracted you to us, wasn't it?
Yeah. So what I'll actually take it back, because it's quite an interesting story, and it's probably I would say it's been a pretty good trajectory, if I can say that. So I was probably back in 2024. Obviously, I'm a big rugby guy. I'm a big rugby fan, big sport fan in general. But this, for the context of the story, I was watching a lot of like rugby analysis, because obviously end of year tour, the Springboks head to whether it be the UK, just like the North basically, and then we obviously play teams out there. And I was just watching analysis on YouTube, because I feel like that's interesting and something that I'm interested in. And basically, I was watching a video. I can't remember what it was, so I can't plug anyone. So my apologies. But
it will have been the rugby analyst, Aidan.
It might have been. It might have been.
Because we did a sponsorship with him for the November internationals.
Might be. So it's there you go. So it was in the description, and I clicked on a link. And obviously, I have a media background, more film background, but studies-wise, I've studied film and media. So I've mainly been in film prior to this. I was in post-production, and then done a lot of freelance stuff film-wise. So I was interested in media and just seeing what I can do, how I could maybe combine them. Obviously I had video skills, but I was interested in media as well. So I wouldn't say that was going through my mind when I clicked on the link, but I just clicked on the link and I was like, oh, it's SIP Media Solutions. So I probably got sent to the homepage, saw Simon's details, contacted him. And then I don't know if it was maybe early Jan, probably got back to me, and then we got talking, whatever. He spoke to me a lot about the ethos. So I got like similar values, principles that I always lean on, things that sort of help me succeed or feel like I can, sort of reach the level of, ambition and success that I want. So that was sort of kind of the start of it. And then I kind of got thrown into the deep end a bit, because I was on film and we didn't have a lot of people. So it was myself, Dan Lawrence, who's the content editor of Film News Blitz, and we were just getting a few others placements and whatnot. And obviously it was Oscars time, was awards season. So I just got thrown in to do a lot of coverage of like film stuff. Obviously I hadn't really written much prior to that since probably uni days, but it was a great experience. And I would say like now my film writing has probably gone, exponentially from where it started, but it was just a great sort of, experience to be sort of in the deep end there. And then I probably the trajectory moved to like, I think I did something for TNB, Travel News Blitz, and then I was on the Sports News Blitz, NJN, all that stuff. And yeah, I've kind of just been doing a lot of multifaceted, multi-layered things with SIP Media Solutions. So yeah, that's me.
So you said from the beginning that your big thing was rugby and you're a massive sports guy. So how did you find it? Like you said, you were thrown into the deep end, but what was it like being thrown into something completely different as well, looking at film instead of, the sport that you love so much?
Well, I love film. So film was the main reason why I studied film and media actually. So it was actually it was a good shift. I think being in film first, having it be sort of the bare bones of everything at first that was actually a good thing to be a part of, because then Simon can sort of like suss out the ethos that I have, what my values are, what my drive is like, what my skill level's like, am I receptive to different things? And that sort of shift from there going into sports, which was obviously S&B out of the main Blitz brands was the biggest and still is. So it was kind of like by the time I got into S&B, and that's when I'll talk a bit about the CMS sort of consultancy and sort of getting used to like Squarespace and obviously WordPress now and all that. I'd already sort of felt that from the film side. So by the time I was on the S&B editing team, I'd already published tons of stuff for film. So, and it's on the same interface. So kind of, there's a lot that sort of, although I took a lot on in 2025, the trajectory, it made sense because I was adding layers, but it was everything that I could handle. It was never too much. It was never, it might have been the deep end, but it's not like I couldn't swim. So
I think, Matt, obviously the main purpose of this podcast is to promote doing a placement with us, whether you're a graduate, whether you're a student. And it all starts with me, like a phone call with me. So what I do with everyone and what I did with Aidan, similarly what I did with you, Matt, I kind of get to know you, like, on a personal level. I'm like, what are the things that make you tick? What do you love? What do you love consuming? So I know Aidan loves cricket and he loves rugby and he loves films. So for News Just News, he writes cricket and rugby content for News Just News, and he'll occasionally do some film content for us as well, because it's News Just News is a straight news site. It's kind of like, it's not sort of like colourful and loads of opinion. It's more straight news, whereas Film News Blitz, it's got complete artistic license to write what he wants. So that's the real appeal of a placement with us, I think. And then we just take you on a journey, because we've identified that most university courses, whether it's in the US or Cape Town or South Africa or the UK, there's a missing piece of what they're teaching content creators, and it's the SEO side of it. It's the technical side of it. It's like, yes, I can see you can write, but do you know how to frame your article for Google? Do you know what a meta description is? Do you know the importance of a focus keyword? So I think we've taken Aidan on this incredible journey, which I'd like him to touch on, because I think, Aidan, you said about the ethos and the culture, but on the SIP Media page, we've got the About team, and there was Michael Davey, who's also in Cape Town, Shamika Voya. We've got quite a good partnership with the University of Cape Town, and that course has delivered some incredible internship students.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell if it's a coincidence or not, because obviously there's just so many great UCT graduates that SIP Media has at their disposal. So it's hard to, from my side, it's hard to measure whether that just happens to be the case or UCT is doing something right. So maybe it's a bit of both. I don't know. But I think everyone we have involved, the sort of 4 to 6 of us that we have involved, it's pretty much all been wins. So I don't know. I think it's just, it comes down to attitude. It comes down to having skills and willing to add onto your skill set, kind of being in environments where you can push each other, where you can respect each other, where you can be in a position where you want to grow something long-term. I think there's a bit of a long-term thinking when it comes to SIP Media. So I think everyone's sort of reading off the same hymn sheet. Everyone sort of has like, and also I want to say there's also there's a lot of maneuverability. Like, there's a lot of give and take. We try to do things a little differently. We try to, while sort of being as accurate as we can, we try to be as efficient as possible. So I think there's a whole lot of layers to it, but everyone comes with their own thing, their own niche. Like for me, fundamentally, I've always wanted to do something that has sort of my core interests at heart. So to add on to what Matt said about, what obviously sport and films, things that's obvious that I love, but I love, food, fashion, entertainment, anime, photography, videography. These are all things that have been part of my past. So music as well. These are all things that's part of my daily, part of my past. I always wanted to be part of that sphere. So being in like the media space now, I just feel like I've ticked more boxes. I don't feel like I've left film. I feel like I'm just in a different avenue of film nowadays. So, which I think is great. And I feel like it's never not a part of me, because myself and Simon have spoken about it so many times. I'm a young guy, but I'm a bit of an old soul sometimes. I love like old films, classics, music as well. I'm kind of like, I love culture, entertainment. So those kind of things, like I feel like I've been able to hone, like been able to combine my skill set with the things that I love doing. So that's kind of what I want to do going forward as well, you know. And naturally, I'm quite analytical even, so it might not be surface level, it might be sort of the background stuff, but I love that type of stuff as well because I'm also a practical person. So it's just being in an environment where you want to improve because you feel like you're paying it back to yourself, you're paying the things that you love back to yourself. So I kind of, you know, that's kind of where my head's at with it. Obviously, it's a journey still. I mean, that was one. It was a very successful year, but now, you know, with NJN growing as quick as it has, SMB still doing well, FMB still doing well, and then the other sides sort of in support of that, it's only going to go up. But there'll be more challenges, more intricacies along the way for sure.
I just wanted to touch, Matt, before you jump in, to say it's not a coincidence. Like the UCT partnership started with Shamika, but I put a lot of time. If you're on the team or you've got a placement, you've done quite well to get to that, including Matt. You know, Matt's cut from the same cloth. You know, you're all young, but you've got kind of like wise heads on your shoulders, and you all like the classics like Matt. Or you absolutely love the classics, don't you? Really, and your love of film and music and sport is sort of oozing through all the video content that we do, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it is, and I think we're quite similar in that sense. With, you know, we're both young guys, and I think something, especially the missus takes the mick out of me for, is being a bit of an old soul, and you know, like in my Back to the Futures and my 70s music and stuff like that. So being able to incorporate the culture of that and the, you know, how rich it is into the stuff that we do now is brilliant. You did make a point, and I wanted to touch on, Aidan, and it was about how you said about how, you know, how people, whether we'd got lucky, I suppose, from the University of Cape Town, and whether it was a fluke almost or a coincidence that people were doing so well now. So from that course, obviously me and Simon try and bridge the gap between university and you know, freelance work, in full-time work. What about the internship with SIP and with the Sports News Blitz and doing bits on film? Which bits do you think you've taken forward most and gone, right, these is where I needed to fill in the gaps, I suppose, for working life from uni?
Yeah, I would say on the online publishing side, like those are skills that I kind of, I'm like I said, I'm naturally quite analytical. I want to see the background of things, the inner workings of things, and those are things that I really wanted to get into. Where I think with a lot of uni courses, even UCT included, a lot of it is like fundamental stuff. It's like stuff that you can always lean on, like to understand sort of the industry maybe. But even in that time, and obviously in the aftermath of that, and which is clear because I'm naturally being a freelancer now, I was always adding on more skills. Like I wanted to work with people, understand the psychology of business, the nuance of business, like being on sets, being around like experienced heads who sort of can analyze situations. And that I took that mindset into the sort of internship that I did like in the beginning of the year, Jan-Feb time, 2025, obviously. And I sort of applied that to like Simon, sort of like working with Simon, sort of the backlinking stuff, the nitty gritty stuff, the tags, the categories. Those are the SEO stuff that I'm really interested in. So I would say that's like where sort of my focus is directed. Maybe in like some of the personal stuff I'm working on is really sort of understanding that SEO, GEO type of stuff. That's sort of the avenue I really enjoy. Obviously, being around, always be around media, SIP and whatnot. But that's kind of I can consciously say that's the thing I've taken time to sort of take a step back from everything. And when I'm not on the SIP in the week, I go and I sort of study those kinds of things and sort of really understand how it works, how I can apply it, how I can offer it to people. Those that's the sort of layers that I look at. So that's, to answer your question, that's probably where that was probably where my biggest takeaway was, I'd say.
I just wanted to say, Matt, as well, just to talk to both of you about the long-term plan here, which both of you have really embraced and jumped into. You're fresh out of uni. You graduated last summer? Was it last summer? I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. I graduated in the summer just gone.
And I was there for that graduation, which was lovely, by the way. And you got all sorts of special commendations, and so yeah, Aidan's like very, very cut from the same cloth. Very like natural leadership skills, willing to take on lots of new advice from me after 25 years, not that long, Matt, not the 1900s, but lots of experience. But then what I wanted to create was an environment where I sort of show you my thoughts on things about how we should do things. And then you sort of push back and go, well, I've seen this tool and I think we should do it like this and that. So it's an ecosystem where yes, I'm the managing director of SIP Media Solutions, but I want people that can come in and challenge me and try and find if there's better processes. And ultimately, what I want is for you to all become mentors. Like I've been a mentor to you, and that's happened in the last month with Aidan. We've brought in Anna Faraz, who we interviewed, and Aidan is essentially been her mentor and sort of teaching her all the things that he's learned in the last year. You've been teaching that to Anna, haven't you, Aidan?
Yeah, and it's been a great experience. I think when you obviously I haven't mentored that many people in that capacity, like in that way, too often. But being in that position now, I think it also, it's a lot of credit goes to her as well, because she comes with the right kind of attitude and approach. I think the big thing about taking internships on with SIP Media and just working on a, let's say, 3 to 6 month period is you want to be very receptive to information. You want to be able to. I remember when I started, and Dan, obviously the F&D content editor, he can attest to this. When I was having my articles published that he was subbing, I always wanted him to come back to me and tell me what the issue was and what I could do better, like constantly. Like it was probably a nightmare. I swear he probably thanks God that like, I can just do my own thing, and he subs it, and it's pretty much relatively, kind of how we want it stylistically and whatnot. Because in the beginning, I just wanted to do better constantly and just take more things on and just add to the metaphorical tool belt, as Simon would say. So I think that's been the benefit for me, like having to mentor someone like Anna, who really wants to be on a level with everyone and really wants to succeed along with everyone, because she represents the same morals and values that we all do. And I think there's definitely, although there's a lot of nuance into the way we all are as people, I think there's some common ground, and when we all come together, the principles we can all lean on. And I think that sort of becomes sort of the foundations of what SIP Media is growing to be. So, yeah.
And you've mentored quite a lot of people, haven't you, Matt, over the last sort of 6 months or so?
Yeah, well, we've got a few, I put a video literally in the group chat yesterday of a young chap who's at a university of Chester, and he is really interested in doing sports video, and he wants to kind of take that away from university. And like, we've had a few drafts between myself and him which haven't been published, because it's like, right, let's take a look at this, look at your framing, look at your content, look at the script, let's really go through it. And now he posted a video. We've got a couple of videos from him up now, and I think something that I think me and you did, Simon, on our placement was when I'd finished my writing placement with you, I was able to look back at the first thing I sent you and then the most recent thing that was published, and the stark contrast is huge. And I love the fact that I've saved his first video that he sent me, and it's now we can look at that and go, right, look at this one that you sent me to start with, and now look at the one that you've just published, you've created, you've edited, you've done all on your own. And the difference is ridiculous. And I think that's one of the things that is so like fulfilling about doing this sort of thing, is because you help people in a way which they don't get at uni, or they haven't yet got at university. With that being said, Aidan, you made it when you said about how the big thing for you, which you learned in your internship into employment, would be the CMS side of things. Simon, we've heard this every single interview so far. So what do you think? This is a question more for Simon. So what do you think, if a university was to listen to this, what do they need to do?
They need to pay me to go to see them or pay Aidan. They need to bring industry experts in to do workshops. That's what they need to do. The University of Lancashire is doing just that. They've asked me to go over there for a full day and do a workshop with their lecturers and show them like how to use WordPress. I'm always looking for like people that have got websites, that have got entrepreneurial spirit. I've chatted to a lad yesterday who's got his own website. He's given me access to his WordPress, and I can see that he's kind of doing some SEO stuff, but not enough. He's not doing all of the things, and those things have just been learned by me over 25 years of just having to graduate when the internet like was born, and then see all of these different content management systems come through. And WordPress is the granddad of the internet when it comes to powering. There's all these new kids on the block. There's Squarespace, which is great. So they need to get us in. They need to get us back in. Matt, we've done quite a lot of talks at uni, but we haven't actually done workshops. We talked with Matt's uni, Leeds Trinity University, about doing some workshops. That's what we need to do. But in the interim, while they're doing that, you go and learn the theory at university, and then you put it into a practice with a placement with us. There's just no better way of learning it, because you're learning it in a real environment. So, like Aidan said, my job is to decide when people can be thrown at the deep end. And I found with Aidan and Anna and Michael and Shamika, they've all got the right characteristics. As you did, Matt, we kind of like chucked you in at the deep end very quickly, sort of said, there's a YouTube channel, go and populate it, go and have some fun with it. And I've said the same to you many times, like, enjoy the journey. Like, imagine where we're going to be in 3 years time, imagine where we're going to be in 5 years time. It's going to be huge if we keep going at this rate and just keep turning up and just commit to doing content well and consistently. Then, Google Discover changes, AI, ChatGPT, how people use and search for content, that's going to change. It's going to shape and shift. What isn't going to change is if you consistently do content that's engaging and informative, Google will like that and people will like that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on. And I think almost time for closing statements of this video. Aidan, what are your goals for 2026 going forward? It's obviously a huge year. You've said how 2025 was a really successful one. You've got that trajectory going up. What's your plans?
Well, for me, obviously, going with would be definitely one of them. There's a lot I actually want to do this year. So the first part is, obviously, it's great that sites like MJN and SMB is growing, and obviously I'm actually the FMB deputy content editor, so I'm still around there doing the thing. But there's a lot I want to do personally, SEO wise. There's things I'm looking into to sort of basically build my own engine, which is currently what I'm working on, and it's going to be something that I'm going to be offering clients on a scale times 10 times 100, and that will be fundamentally things that I've learned and honed with SIP, and that'll be something that I'll take in in my free time, something that I'll build, something that I'll be able to run, and that'll be something that basically rehabilitates structurally SEO neglected sites, basically. So it could be sites that are heavily in betting, that literally money's coming out from more places, but actually there's ways that they don't even understand that their sites are structurally neglected, that they could actually make a lot more money. And then obviously sites that are struggling or can't seem to fix their SEO, and my engine's basically going to be something that addresses that. It won't be outside that scope. It will be very much within the scope of SEO, because that's kind of where my mind is streamlined. Sort of it's something that I want to be able to grow and sort of like accurately have be sort of like a linear process. But I would say that's sort of the other goal of building that, and be able to build something like that it'll be the first time we're able to build something like that makes money, basically. And that will be like an incredible achievement, because it'll be fundamentally things that I've learned here, and things that I'll take, whatever I do personally, that's things that I'll take into SIP, of course. So yeah, I'd say that's just one or two things, I'd say.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds really interesting. We very much look forward to seeing how that goes forward. I think that kind of wraps up this episode of the CEO of Fucking Everything, and find a word from himself, the CEO of Fucking Everything. Simon, anything from you?
Yeah, I'm going to buy that engine off you, Aidan, when it's ready.
We'll see how it goes.
But this is
stages, guys. Like SIP just a year ago for me, I'm sort of fundamentally mapping out sort of how I want it to be, the sort of ethos around how I approach clients with it, what their responses will be, how I will respond to that. The sort of those type of sort of conversational nuances. So it's happening. It's happening. We're going to do it.
Well, that's another, as a final plug for the placement, Matt, this is something you've been very interested in. We also sort of teach the business development side of things, because if you're going to be a content creator or a digital media, have a career in digital media, you just need to know a bit of everything. You're like, how do I do the content? How do I make it good for Google and YouTube? And then how can I monetize it? They're the three core pillars that you need to know and understand. And we try to show you all of that on a placement with us at SIP Media.
Yeah, no, we really do. So if that's something you're interested in, please do get in touch. Well, for now, that wraps it up. Thank you very much, Aidan, for joining us. Simon, thank you as always. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, everyone.